Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since I put out a video. That's simply because it's been a long time since I've been able to get out. However, I'm getting ready to get out a little bit this weekend, and what I'm going to have to do is put me together a real quick fire kit. A lot of people have their own little personal favorites that they carry. This just happens to be mine. It's just a down and dirty. And basically what this kit consists of is a little bit of cotton and wax. But I'm going to show you how I do it. My favorite way of doing this stuff. The reason why I like this is that you can control what kind of fire starter you have. Almost completely waterproof, down to maybe a starting wick on it. And I'm going to show you the difference between the two. But anyway, here's what you're going to need. An 89-cent cheese grater from Walmart, some Gulf paraffin wax, or you can use just a regular old candle. The paraffin wax and this system, the way I'm going to show you to do it, works out much better. So, enough jibber jabber. I just want to get to work and show you how to throw this little kit together. Now, in this kit, it consists of a little pellet can. This is not the large one. This is the 250 count. It's just a empty pellet can. So the first thing I want to do is want to look at waterproofing that. So I have a piece of inner tube. Ranger bands are made of inner tubes, and I'm going to show you how to use this piece of inner tube to make both Ranger bands and help waterproof this container. Now, the first thing you're going to do is take the bottom portion of your can and measure where you're going to make sure you're going to have plenty of room there, and then mark it. Now, what I'm going to do is cut that excess off. I'm going to cut it fairly straight. Now you have a piece, I don't know, maybe an inch wide. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that in half. Boom, 2 Ranger bands. Hang on to those, and I'll show you what we're going to do with them next. Secondary, I'm going to take this piece of leftover inner tube, then I'm going to cut it in half. Open it up, set the bottom part of your can on top of it, mark it, just trace it out. And then cut it out real quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be on the line, because you remember your trace, so your line's going to fall just on the outside really of your marker. You'll take that, pop it in the inside, in the top part of your the lid. Well, just flip it over. It's going to curve down if you put it inside the inner tube down. So now, if you wanted to glue that in or whatever, I'll just leave it kind of in limbo. So you have your pellet can with a rubber inner tube in the top, and then you have your 2 Ranger bands. Now, from that point, I've already got some going, but I'm going to show you what I did with this. I took this cheese grater, and I just took this paraffin wax and just scratch this stuff off. Now, you can cut this off with a knife, or just have it in chunks, but what I've noticed, what I've found out, that wax melts easier on the device that I'm using if it's kind of shaved, just like this. Now, what I'm using is a tea light fragrance candle. It's just one of those things you put a couple tea light candles under. You put the wax in the top. If it smells up your house, well, they come in tea light, and they also come in like a light bulb. But what you'll do, you'll take this flaky paraffin wax, and you'll kind of just dump it in the top. And you can see how fast that's starting to melt. I mean, it melts a lot faster that way, so you can make a lot of fire starters. Now, there's going to be two different ways. The reason why I like this type of man-made fire starter, or man-made tinder, is because it's so versatile. Now, you'll take a piece of aluminum foil, just set it down on your table, and you'll grab your cotton balls. You can get any size you want. I use, these are jumbo. They don't really feel very jumbo to me, but anyway, what you'll do is take your cotton ball and just put it inside there, and it wicks up fast. Drop it in there, let it soak up, and then you can take your corner of your aluminum foil and you can mash it down flat, as flat as you can get it. It's going to make a kind of a mess, and you're going to have excess in there. But this way, if you saturate your cotton ball enough, this will wick out all the way to the end, and it'll be almost like a solid piece of wax, which is perfectly fine. When you pull it off there to still be kind of wet, you just set it to the side. Now that's going to be like almost a solid piece of wax. You can do that, or you can roll it up like this, and you can drop that in there and hold on to one end, because you're going to keep it. You're going to keep one end completely free of wax. It's going to act like kind of an easy start for your fire steel. You got to be careful, because this stuff can get pretty warm under those tea light candles. But you just kind of smash it down. Now, once you make a few of these, before you start putting them into your container, you'll want to let them set. Now, I'm only going to make a couple for this video. Now, let me tell you the difference between the two. Now, this one that's still kind of wet, it's permeated, but not so much that it's a solid piece of wax. It won't burn as long, but it's still a good piece of fire starter. It's going to strike up really quick with your fire steel. Probably with the first strike, it'll catch up, and it'll probably burn for about 2 minutes. This one right here, that's completely saturated, it's going to take a little bit more work to get started with a fire steel. You'll have to rough it up and really throw the sparks to it, and then it'll catch. But this will burn, anywhere from 5 to 6 minutes, and which is a big help if you're out and it's raining. Now, while I'm talking, I'm also going to show you a trick that I'm going to have in here that I do with my lighter. Now, my total kit is one container full of these wax impregnated cotton balls. One container. You can probably put about 12, 13 permeated cotton balls in there, sometimes more. But I also keep just a small lighter. Now, one thing that I'll do with this lighter is, first I'm just going to I'm going to pop off this the red thing, little red trigger here. Probably should have had a pair of pliers. Okay, I just popped off that little red thing. It's probably a little easier than what I made it look like. And then all you're going to have is this little metal thing, little metal lip left on there. Now that little metal lip is going to be harder to light, obviously, but it also keeps you from accidentally pressing it down and losing the gas. There's a bunch of different things on YouTube that you can do to make that happen, locks and all this other stuff, but that's just the way I do. I just knock it off. Now, the duct tape. Duct tape will start by using a fire steel. That's pretty much the baseline for my fire starter. I like my man-made tinder to be able to start by the use of a fire steel. Now, what I'll do is cut off about a foot of duct tape. Color does not matter. If you're a big camo nut or it has to be tactical, that's up to you. This is just what I had laying around the house. Now, what I'm going to do is just start right here. This duct tape happens to be the same width as these small Bic lighters. Now, if you'll take and tape it to a table and roll this up on here, you have some fire starter on here. Now, duct tape will start with the use of a fire steel. It's not easy, it's pretty complicated, and the prep work is pretty tedious for you to make it work. Now, the trick to it is, if you'll look, there's little bitty fibers in there, and you're going to have to take the time to rip all those little fibers apart and kind of make a small bird's nest, and you'll probably need about 4 to 6 inches of the duct tape, and it's going to take you quite a bit of time to process that down. But when you have it, you have it. And the thing about it is, when you need it, you really need it. So this can also double as, you know, like your first aid kit, you get a bad cut. Duct tape is great for that. And if you've got it on the bottom of your Bic, then you're good to go. You can use any kind of lighter you want. I just like these Bics. They happen to be more reliable to me, and plus they're small. Just my personal preference. Now, completely in my kit, pellet, 250 count pellet thing, pellet container, empty. Piece of tubing enough to waterproof the can, plus have a couple Ranger bands. You can do this process by using the candle, but sometimes the candle, somehow or another, the wax drops down and it will actually catch the cotton ball on fire. This just seems to be quicker and easier. So, pellet can, Ranger bands, cotton balls that are impregnated with quite a bit of wax, and then a Bic lighter with duct tape on it. Now, how does this work? I fill this thing up as fast and full as I can get it. I crank this down on here. Sometimes these tins can be a pain in the butt to get the thread on there, but if you just hold your mouth right, it works. And I'm trying to rush here because I don't want to do any editing on this video. Okay, so we're together on here. Now, what I do is take a Ranger band, put one on there, and then put the other one on here. Now, what you have here is a Surefire Fire Kit. Now, the reason why I say this is, if you're going to be backpacking or whatever, if you spent any time in the woods and spent any time around a fire steel, you know you're always going to have one in your backpack. It doesn't matter if you're adventure racing, whether you're backpacking, whether you're kicking around in a canoe, fishing, whatever, you're going to have some kind of small fire kit. That's why I like this small fire kit. And here's why. You got multifaceted ways to make fire. A, you have fire steel in your kit. B, you're going to have this little kit that's additional. It's just a small little kit. You're going to have a lighter, duct tape. 9 times out of 10, this lighter is going to work. You have the Ranger bands. Once you get a fire going, that will extend it. You have the extra waterproofing piece of rubber inside if you need it. But the bottom line is, this is going to be my little fire kit. I'm going to have it packed to the gills. I used to have 3 or 4 of these things when I was in the woods all the time, and it would be in different kits, like a fishing kit, whatever. But anyway, I think that's all I really got to pass on, but here we are. This is my fire kit. Okay guys, it would be silly for me to tell you this is my favorite man-made tinder and not give you an example. You got to understand that this is a man-made tinder. There are tons of them out there that you can use. This one Well, this one just happens to be my favorite because it's cheap and easy to make in my home, and it works pretty well. Now, I keep the lighter in the kit simply because it's 9 out of 10 times it's going to work, and there may come a time that it don't. So then, you know, you have your minimum standard of fire starter with your fire steel. Now, there should be 3 reasons why you use a man-made tinder: speed, convenience, or hard times. Specifically, when the hours are shorter in the day and when it's cooler, and or you push the daylight to its very end to get to your campsite, you get into campsite, this allows you an opportunity to multitask. You can get a fire going while you're building camp. But enough of that. When you're going to light these, it doesn't matter if you're going to light them with a lighter or a fire steel. You need to rough them up a little bit and get that cotton showing. A lot of times I make them so permeated that it's going to be hard for them to catch a spark, and it's going to be sometimes a little complicated to start them with a lighter. So I try to rough them up before I start. Okay, either way, you can use a lighter. Start fairly easy. You'll let them get caught up. The wind's blowing a little bit out here today. But anyway, supposing your lighter doesn't work, well, the minimum standard for starting fires for me is a fire steel. So we'll use a fire steel on this. And it works. Now, these are man-made tinders. These are for convenience or hard times, like if you can't get a fire started, everything around you is wet. This is something to fall back on. It's a good for a new woodsman to keep in his pack. But I'll tell you, I keep this kind of stuff with me all the time because it's very convenient. But I want to stress the fact that it doesn't matter what kind of man-made tinder you enjoy, or you buy, or you make. You got to understand that it by no means should take the place of good woodsman skills. And you have to know how to build a fire. You have to know how to collect tinder. You have to know how to build a fire without all this stuff. Because if you don't, then you may come upon a time when you really need a fire and you're going to be unable to do so because you rely too much on the man-made tinder. So just a little food for thought. This is my favorite man-made tinder. I hope that you get out and try it, and it works as good for you as it has for me. Again, I'm Billy Poe, and I'll see you again on the next video.